Hello, my name is Stephanie Plante. I'm a resident of the Sandy Hill neighborhood, and my community initiative is to get this park renamed after the Inuk artist Eni Putuguk.
Hi Stephanie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Mathieu?
It's good to see you again. You've done amazing initiative as a young parent in our community that'd be visiting all of our libraries with your son or visiting all of our pools.
Perfect.
I love the energy that you bring, and now you have an important project that you've been working on now for a number of months. Tell us about it. I'm intrigued. Obviously, I'm aware because you've worked with me, you've worked with the Community Association here in Sandy Hill to advance it forward. Let's start from day one. How did you get interested in Eni Putuguk specifically, and thinking of this location here at Sandy Hill Community Center?
So, as you know, because you've been intrinsically involved, my son and I have visited many municipal landmarks, whether they be the libraries, the pools, the community centers. He's attended summer camps all over the city. And one thing I noticed was, we have things named after Walter Baker or Robert Plant, but we don't have anything named after, as far as I know, any Indigenous person in this city, whether they're Métis or Inuit. And I'm originally from a place called Tecumseh, Ontario, and Tecumseh was a Shawnee tribe leader. And so I thought to myself, well, we have a lot of Inuit people living in this riding, in your riding specifically.
Yes.
They don't really have like a public space named after someone that they can recognize. And as you know, Sandy Hill is one of the older neighborhoods, so we have streets named after Laurier, King Edward, and those people are great. They helped found this country, but I really wanted them to have a public space that they could call their own with someone whose name they could recognize and who, quite frankly, is really famous up north. So Eni is the first Inuit woman to have her own solo exhibit at the National Gallery of Canada. She also sold her art all around the world, and she really sort of, I would say, in the beginning of the 2000s, put Inuit art on the map. Inuit art has always been really famous, but I'm always intrigued by people who can make very simple things look beautiful. And so her drawings show people, in the line at the dépanneur, or just watching Dr. Phil. And as a mom, I can relate to that because I spend a lot of time in line or watching bad TV. And so I was just really intrigued by her art, and I was very sad to hear she passed away, and very sad to hear on the circumstances in which she passed away. And shortly after that, you probably know, the Missing, Murdered, and Indigenous Women report came out, and this kind of ties in with the way she passed away. And so I thought, we need to recognize her, we need to recognize her art, we need to put her in a public space, and what better area in the part of Sandy Hill, which is really close to Nunavut, Sipekne'kawoot. When I heard about her death, I really did think about her a lot in the months preceding. I mean, she was a single mom. At the time, I was a single mom, and she didn't have the greatest start in life, and she really came to Ottawa, much like I did in 2005, hoping for a better future. And I could really relate to that. And I just want people to know her, just like we would know Wayne Gretzky, just like we know the Group of Seven. I really think she is someone who should have the spotlight on her and deserves a park in her name. So what we know about Eni is that she had a younger daughter named Napachi. And what was important for me when I first started this process was to get the buy-in from her family. So for the first time in my life, I phoned Nunavut, and I reached out to her brother, C. I also reached out to the father of her daughter, Veldon Coburn, who's actually a prof at the University of Ottawa. And I just wanted to make sure they were on board, because if they were not on board, I wasn't going to put the effort in. And then from there, I slowly started reaching out to other Inuit and Indigenous groups in the city of Ottawa, which, very honest, I didn't even know existed. So like Nunavut Sipekne'kawoot, the Ottawa Aboriginal Coalition. And it really opened my eyes to, first of all, a lot of the services we offer Indigenous people and their lack of representation at the municipal level. What was important for me during quarantine was that I get support from the community. Obviously, everyone was at home, everyone was in front of their computers, so I was really able to get a lot of letters of support from really significant people, not just in Sandy Hill, but across Canada. So Premier Joe of Nunavut sent a letter, the MLA from her rider, Mumilaaq Qaqqaq, who's the MP for Nunavut, Ottawa Aboriginal Coalition, both local, national. People really came forward to support this, and I was so thrilled to see it, because when everybody can come together for something they feel that is important, you can really see the thread through all the letters that everybody's like, through reconciliation, this is how we do reconciliation. We can't change the past, but we can put our municipal monuments as a commemoration of, quite frankly, our Inuit and Indigenous heroes.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm glad I'm able to connect with the city. I'm with David Masroor, who's a program coordinator in Parks and Culture. As you know, we met with Stephanie, who's the resident submitting the name change for Sandy Hill Park, and I'm joined by David today just to understand the commemorative naming process at the city. Thank you so much, David, for joining us.
So through the commemorative naming program, we do streets we do parks, and we do facilities, and along with the amenities that exist in them. So if it's a hall in a community center, or if it's a gazebo at a park. And the city also has other commemorative programs. So the commemorative bench program, which is also managed by RCFS, Recreation, Culture, and Facility Services, along with commemorative trees, which is our partners in forestry. Yeah, so any member of the public or member of council can submit a nomination to commemorative name a park, a street, or a facility. And we highly encourage community associations to get together because it really brings the community aspect to the naming. The nominee's contribution has to meet one of the program's council approved criteria. So we have a list of criteria that can be found on the ottawa.ca website by searching commemorative naming. But essentially, the individual has provided courage or exceptional service, has provided extraordinary community service, they fostered equality and reduced discrimination, or there's a historical significance. The nominated name is vetted by multiple departments, and of course, City Archives would be one of them. And the final approval is received from Security and Emergency Management. They're responsible essentially for 911 services. And the reason for it is to ensure that there isn't similar sounding names, as that can be problematic in 911 response. And we work across multiple departments to have a name vetted. Once the name is vetted, we request the application form and affidavit from the nominator. And that's when we proceed to what we call the CNC, the Commemorative Naming Committee. The committee reviews the application to ensure that it meets the criteria, one of the criteria outlined as per council, and then they approve the start of the public consultation. The public consultation is kind of that first look to the community to be made aware that there's potential, there's a proposal to name a facility, a park, a street in their area. So it allows them the opportunity to give their feedback in relation to the naming. And we collect all of that feedback and we report it back to the ward councillor, we report it back to the CNC. And the next step is, you're getting there, is the report to council. We go through the appropriate committees to do so, so Community and Protective Services or Rural and Agricultural Affairs Committee, and then after that, council. Yeah, so the nominator reached out to us in January of this year. We vetted the name, and Security and Emergency Management has come back approving the use of the name. And we're awaiting the final documentations from the nominator. So the signed application form and the signed affidavit that's commissioned by Commissioner Arvo.